Good evening, race fans. Welcome to the Core Racing Network. Tonight, not season finale, but regular season finale here for the Redline Racing Series. So things about to get hot in Atlanta as there's going to be 10 spots up for grabs for the playoffs. The top 2 in points after tonight's race will make the playoffs, and the top 8 finishers, not including those 2 from tonight's race, will make the playoffs. So tonight, very, very important for these drivers' playoff hopes to make it into the 3-race playoff system, which is going to start with 10 drivers for the first race. It'll get whittled down to 5 after that first race, and then down to 3 for the season finale, and that'll be your top 3 for the season. But top 3 in points after tonight's are going to get a little payout as well. So a lot on the line here tonight, but I'm not alone here. And joining me in the booth is Mark Thomas. Mark, are you ready for a little hot Atlanta action?
I am, Carl. I would say that this version of the track is not my favourite. I kindly prefer old Atlanta. This tends to run a bit like a super speedway, or at least I find it tends to run like a super speedway until the tyres, start to wear off a bit. It's a very much a flat out kind of track, but that does come with its own pitfalls, because you can do tyres here, and it will provide us with some real close racing I'm expecting to see tonight. And as you said, with the payouts and being playoff as well, I could see it getting a little spicy. Huh? I'm actually expecting, maybe a crossword or 2. I hate to put it out there, but I mean, I could see it.
Yeah, and you certainly expected here, I think, tonight, as a lot on the line. You got money on the line that's going to be divvied out after tonight. You got playoff spots that are going to be on the line, as we mentioned, but we've got to get through qualifying here first and set the grid for tonight's race, as we're about 15 seconds away from the grid right now. Daniel Wiles out there on top of the boards right now. But before we switch over to that, and before we get to the qualifying, let's bring up the standings so far and give you guys a taste of what's on the line for these guys, as very, very close at the top of the boards. How close? 1 point. That's it. 1 point separating first place from second place. That's Travis Wells from Daniel Wiles. Cody Lunger only another 7 points back there in third place. So he's only 8 points back from the top spot. 18 points back overall is Mike Moultrie. And then 5 points back, in fifth place is Jacob Allen, who is 24 points back. Each position here worth 1 point, so winner gets 40 points, second place gets 39, so on and so forth. So, with the size field that we got out here tonight, maybe not enough for guys like Jacob Allen to move all the way up to that top spot. Maybe an outside chance of getting into the top 2. So, going to be looking for for a top 8, top 10 finish to get himself into the playoff mix here. But we are all set, and we are all finished with qualifying. So, give you a rundown here of the grid. It is going to be, if I can get the right one up here. There we go. All right, so starting on the pole is Daniel Wiles with a 30.935. Reddy Schreckengost in second, only about a quarter hundredth of a second off. So these guys are very tight here at the top, and then only a third of a tenth. Yeah, that sounds about right. Third of a tenth back is Mike Moultrie in third. James Connolly in fourth. William George rounding out your top 5. Chase Reynolds, Chris Rude, Travis Wells, Rick Deweese, and Larry Johnson, your top 10. Then you got Jacob Allen, Chris Martinez, Austin Lunger, Jonah Cullen, Derek Booker, Robert Richards, Cody Lunger, and Kyle Heath are going to be actually missing one there. It looks like it's going to be Kyle Heath, and then Lance Brantlinger going to round out your 19-car field here for tonight. Good size field here for the regular season finale, and we're getting ready for some racing as these guys are starting to pull off. 80 laps are going to be on tap for these guys here tonight. I mean, what are we going to look out for? As you said, Mark, it could get a little super speedway-ish. So I'm guessing guess these guys are going to have patience. You know, 80 laps. There's not going to be going 2 wide, 3 wide, or anything like that right from the rip. I'm sure. Correct?
You're funny, man, Cole. You're real funny. No, I can see it going 2 wide right from the. I can see it going 2, 3 wide right from the word go. There is a lot of grip here, especially with the, you know, with this new layout. There is a lot of grip here, and I think that's gonna encourage people to push right from the offset, and the tyre drop off doesn't seem huge as well. So I can honestly see things getting spicy right from the word go. Will there be some guys who take their time and settle themselves in? Yeah, I think so. But as you say, with, you know, the points being so close, especially up the top, with Daniel being out in the lead, he's really going to want to try and break away. And being as it is very super speedway here, we have the classic super speedway idiom. I mean, do you want to be out front and try and not be in the big one when it happens, or do you want to be at the back of the pack and try and avoid it? Sorry, they're off.
Yeah, and no surprise here, the teammates of Wiles and Moultrie working that inside, and Moultrie going to clear going into turn 1 here over Brady Schreckengoss on the outside. Looks like George is also going to follow suit on the inside as they head down the backstretch first time. These guys are going to be winding it all up and probably not going to get to full speed until maybe the start-finish line, so still kind of picking up the speed here in turns 3 and 4. You see these guys are going to be moving all around and trying to not just find where their car drives the best, but there are going to be fast lines out there. Of course, the bottom line is going to be fast, but as you see on the outside, Schreckengoss and Connolly, we're getting a run out there on the outside, but we've already got our first yellow, and we'll take a look back and see what brought that one out. I believe it was back here. Looks like the 33 getting into the wall. And then, yeah, unfortunately, the 31 is going to get into the back of him. Just kind of a wrong place, wrong time there for Kyle Heath as he gets into the back of Robert Richards. And you know, just to add insult to injury, the pace truck just drives right through him. So that was a little bush league on the pace truck driver. Might have a little word with.
Well, I mean, you know, these pace truck drivers, they don't care. You know, they're invisible to us. They're invisible.
I mean, we've seen them on. I want to say it's the Bristol Dirt where they just jump right over the pit wall to get into in the pit lane. So yeah, it's just questionable driving at best. But.
Well, you know, I was going to go with, isn't that the same with most truck drivers? But no, my target audience, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to back away from that slowly, and I'm going to sit myself nice and quietly in the corner, because I don't want to instigate the probably millions and millions and millions of truck fans out there who would decimate me and boil me alive.
You're safe. You're across the pond. It's a long way for them to go. They'll just forget about it by then. So.
True. We just don't have them over here. This is the only reason I'm saying it. I swear to God, I like trucks, really. They call me Hammer.
And that's the only reason they call you Hammer, but that's besides the point. So we'll get back here to the racing here itself. But I mean, a pretty good start for these guys. Just a little bit of a rub on the wall there for Richards. And this is one of those tracks where it's glue when you get on the walls, especially with these cars. Yeah. You get on there and it sticks and it sticks and it sticks, and then all of a sudden it lets loose once you put full lock on that wheel to get off the wall. And then it just like snaps off, and that's what you see. It snapped them off, and it already had them slowed up so far that the guys coming up on them kind of just had to dive left and right to get around them. But unfortunately, 31 of Heath kind of didn't have anywhere to go that quickly. But under caution here on lap 4 right now of 80, and we are we still got everybody on the lead lap except for Richards. Looks like he stayed in there, maybe decided not to use his fast repair and just get that thing fixed up, and he's back out here now. We'll get the track map up here as soon as I can find it. There we go. And it looks like 33 maybe having some issues there in turn 3 and 4. Not sure what's going on as he's limping around there slowly, and now maybe getting back going here. So we just had to let the entire field go by first, but all good to go now, and we are lights out on the pace truck and gonna be going green once again here at Atlanta. It is Daniel Wiles, Brady Schreckengast, both of them back on the front row, as you've seen that outside line really start to gain some momentum there as the speeds finally kind of picked up. So the inside line seems to be the preferred line on the start to get you a good jump, but then possibly we'll see maybe even the leader move up towards that top line right away to keep that momentum in the car.
A little note here from the 19 Robert Richards. His wheels stopped working for a moment. Tends to be a little tricky, especially on oval. You do tend to need that. So, but he seems to be backing, and everything seems to be up to par. So we should be good to go. But, yeah, as you were saying. Sorry, go on.
Hell, oval road course, I think it would be tough if you lose your wheel on a drag strip. So, luckily, everything back going here for Richards and back in the action. And back into pit road is the pace truck. So we're going to be going green once again. Daniel Wiles, your control car, and he is waiting for the restart zone.
Green flag.
And back on the loud pedal now is the 17, and a little slow start for kind of everybody out here, as Schreckengast going to try and stay with Moultrie on the outside there, but looks like the teammates will clear once again. Schreckengast going to move down in front of Connolly in third. Top six straightening out into single line, and then back there in seventh, it looks like still diving out to the outside just a little bit is Travis Wells. But I'd say a little bit cleaner start here, but as we just come to the quad over here for the first time, starting to get a little dicey here once again. 21 and the 2 going to work here, battling it back there for 7th position.
It's a tough start here. You don't want to let the front pack take away a break, but that's a good run around the outside. That's a real good run around the outside.
Yeah, Connolly, no surprise to see him running around the outside there. It seems like that's kind of his preferred line. Connolly just constantly seems to be out there on the outside making it work. And now he's got Schreckengast behind him as they try and work on these two ARCA Racing teammates on the inside, but Moultrie is not letting go of Wiles, and those guys are still locked in to first and third at the moment, but now Connolly has that run enough to get him all the way up alongside, and it looks like he may have enough to take the lead of this race, and by inches, it will be Connolly at the line that time by.
Interesting. Very interesting. That outside line does seem to be working just slightly better on through the tri-oval, but through 1-2s, the inside line seems to pull it up just a little bit. But as you say, the two teammates running on there. Oh, that was a little good.
Yeah, a little bit of bobbling. Great saves by a few of those drivers out there, and great awareness by certainly a lot more to get around Moultrie there, as he's certainly got a little bit wobbly.
I think that was Wiles on the inside catching the God damn it, I can never remember the... God, it's so annoying.
Well, as it stands right now, it is Connolly on the outside, Schreckengast not leaving him, as I don't even think he has a chance to. Wiles back on the inside, back working to end here. Again is Moultrie right back behind him for one more time, and those guys on the inside now starting to make a run. So kind of interesting. Typically we see, the runs coming from the outside, whether it's on super speedways or on the new Atlanta, which kind of works as a super speedway, but we're kind of seeing runs from both lanes. It's usually the inside line tends to be the faster line, but the bigger runs will come from the outside, but I'm just kind of seeing some runs coming from both sides here, so that could make some really interesting racing later on.
Yeah, I'm curious to just how they managed to make that inside line work so well for that couple of. I mean, it might have been the side draft, but now they're side by side. That side draft seems to be working slightly better from the outside. As he says that, as Wiles just storms up the inside of Connolly, makes me out to be a liar. I don't know why I do this, Cole. I mean, every time I say something, I'm quitting. I'm going. I'm done. Thanks very much. It's been a pleasure knowing you. I'm out of here.
I mean, it's never going to be a broadcaster curse if they just never listen to you. So you got that going for you.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks.
So 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 all the way back. It's 2 by 2 all the way through this entire field, and no surprise here. I guess the surprise right now, and I don't want to be the one throwing out the broadcaster's curse, is the fact that they're not 3 wide at this point. It's early in the race, but there's so much grip here, and I mean, unless I'm mistaken, these guys are probably flat out running around here. That it gets tantalizing to maybe throw it to that outside line, or if the middle opens up a little bit, maybe sneaking your nose in there as you see the outside line kind of drifts up towards the wall a little bit more. So it gives you that option to maybe stick your nose in the middle, and once you do, I mean, you feel like a god, because the side draft is amazing in these cars, and when you go in the middle, you're getting double side draft. So you're about like 10 miles an hour faster than the cars on the inside and outside of you. But it just takes one move by the inside car or the outside car to close that door in the middle, and it can be lights out for quite a few drivers. But this guy's doing a pretty good job here so far. We're on lap 15, completing it right now, heading to lap 16.
Yeah, Chase Reynolds there. For a second, I thought he was going to try and squeeze that down the middle. He looked like he was going. I honestly thought, like, for a second, like he's going to make it. He's going to make that. He's going to make that move between George and Schreckengost. No, he held off. He just keeps looking like that's where he's going to make the move. He's got that side drop working for him really, really nicely. But Wiles moving up and out of the way. Is this a tactic for a change of pace, or is he trying to let his teammate try and make a move up the inside, or is this a straight block?
I mean, as far as I know, I look at the standings. I don't think these guys get any bonus points for leading a lap, but maybe it could be cars overheat a little bit too. We talked about that this is super speedway-esque. You got to worry about those cars heating up. It's a 15 into the wall a little bit. Reynolds is going to have to chase it off the wall. Does a good job 3 wide in the back there as Booker was in the middle, and a good save by him back there. But yeah, I mean, it could be just kind of letting that 99 breathe a little bit, but he is doing more than breathing. He's pulling that inside line right away from his teammate, as the 96 of George is going to follow. Connolly going to come through. Schreckengost's coming through as well, but the yellow flag is out, and maybe that 3 wide battle with Booker was not settled altogether, as it looks like he is involved in this caution right here.
I've got all sorts of incidents all at the same time. 8:53 must have been a biggie, I think.
There it is right there, coming off the corner. Let's take a look at it one more time here. And coming up off the corner, looks like the 46 a little bit loose on the inside, sliding up, and then makes contact with the 44. Big impact for both those cars into the outside wall, and then you see just a wall of smoke with Cody Lunger, Austin Lunger diving to the inside. It looks like that is actually it. I mean, I'm only seeing a couple cars involved here, so pretty good job of avoiding the wreck here. We'll take a look at it one more time from the view of Cody Lunger as he comes through turns 1 and 2. And you see how quickly it can happen, and you never want to come off the corner full speed and see a car completely sideways and then kind of turn backwards, because you never know which way that driver's going to turn the wheel. If he turns it one way, it's directly into you. If he turns it the other way, you're safe. But it's a roll of the dice, but a good job avoiding the incident there by both Lungers as they went to the inside. But pit stops are ensuing, and most of the guys coming in, but certainly a few staying out, as Deweese, Wells, and Johnson elect to stay out. The rest of the field is going to come in for a pit stop. Doesn't look like too many guys taking tires though, as we're only on lap 20 here of 80. Looks like a lot of guys just hopping off on fuel, a few grabbing tires, but already a quarter of the way into this race, and we're seeing a lot of different strategies here, Mark.
Yeah, I've been trying to work out what I would do in this situation when it comes to fuel strategy. Do I want to be out there, or do I want to top up with fuel? I'm really not sure, if I'm honest. I'd like to be out front because I think that you're probably going to have less incidents out front. But I wouldn't want to be in mid-pack, so taking fuel would probably put me somewhere mid-pack, and I'm not sure that's where I would want to be right now. But then again, these drivers tend to be quite respectful. They don't. The amount of silly moves that we've seen in this league is quite low. So, running side by side for an extended period is entirely possible. So having that extra fuel on board might be the play. Can you stretch it out and make it last, because the tyre wear over here, it really doesn't seem to be that extensive.
Well, we got a chance. Want to give a shout out to our league sponsors here tonight, as we have Shakers Bar and Grill of Corey, Pennsylvania, Sam's Tree Service of Corey, Pennsylvania, and J1 Designs for all your iRacing paint needs. Also a shout out to our broadcast sponsor, W Energy. If you're looking for an energy drink with no crash and no jitters, check out W Energy and use the promo code COREDUB, COREDUB, to get you 10% off your purchase.
Going to be an interesting restart, this. I think we're going to see Larry Johnson was fairly quick during the practice session. DeWeese has also done fairly well. We've got Moultrie up in 5th here, just tucked in. Never one to be to be afraid to put the move down or to make it to the front. And whilst, even though he did come in, he's still only running 7th. That's not so far back from the pack that he can't make a move. Pace car's coming in.
Pace car is off, and it's in the hands of Rick DeWeese at the front here, the 00
Green.
buckshot, and he is off on the loud pedal, and a great restart there from the 00. So much so that the 29 of Connolly gets a great start as well and dives the inside of Wells, heading into turn 1 and gonna make that pass already. Moves off into second place. Larry Johnson on the inside there, almost had a nose on the inside of Wells. Now he is going to get to the inside as they're going to battle down the backstretch. Second, third, and fourth. Throw a blanket over them into turn 3.
Yeah, also there was just the smallest little check up there from Wells to let his teammate get onto the back door, and now it looks like they've switched to the outside line, going to try and make that work for them.
Still early in the race, and it's still time. I mean, you try and use practice to your advantage to figure out what works well, but sometimes you need to straight up get into the race and kind of feel it out. It's going to feel completely different. It's amazing how different sometimes it feels from practice to the race, where your car just feels better.
That was a big old wiggle there, but he holds on like an absolute legend.
Out front it is Wells on the outside, Luis on the inside, and they're followed by the 2 of Martinez on the outside as it gets very close there. Opens up the inside line. Shrekking guys wasting no time, but that got a little dicey coming off of 3 and 4, and man, that was about 17 cars right there getting involved in an incident, and yet nothing happened.
I saw the 00. Well, I wouldn't say check up, but get a little squirrely, and then it was like the passing of the Red Sea. Everybody was going up, down, round, through, under, over, but no contact. Absolutely no contact. But now what I think that has done is kind of messed up the field somewhat, because now there's people who are probably going to try and break away from the rest of this pack now. Can they actually make this work, or is the toe just too strong around here?
I mean, that was the big one at Atlanta that didn't happen. I mean, it was right there for the taking for sure. But a great job by these guys in saving it, and we're still green here, but already looking like we're going to go 3 wide once again, and up through the middle. Cullen splitting the 15 and the 99, and it's certainly room for it here in Atlanta, but it gets really sketchy. You see getting in the corners, plenty of grip, but the car just dances that little bit, and it can get really scary and sketchy. But they figure it out, and these guys are all over the place right now, and in a good way, finding all kinds of grip, but scaring me a little bit up here in the booth, and Strecken guys getting up there a little bit. Now 3 wide again as the 15 gets to the inside, and now contact on the front stretch, and that's going to bring out another caution.
We all knew it was going to be close here. I mean, we knew it was going to be some close racing. I didn't expect it to be this close. I mean, this is, yeah, it is tough for the guys, and I know that I'm smiling like a Cheshire cat, and I don't mean to, because it's, you know, people are crashing, but it's just, it's so difficult to be in such close proximity to other drivers and to be able to anticipate what they're going to do and how they're going to react and where they're going to go and what their car's doing whilst all the time you are actually trying to do the same thing yourself. It's so tough, even with the high grip level that we have here. Some of the speed differences and some of the toes, and as Carl was saying earlier, the side draft. It's a huge difference.
Yeah, to me it looked like maybe the 99, not realizing that he was 3 wide, came down to hit that first of the 2 quad oval turns on the front stretch, and came right across the nose of the 32 of Rude, and that caused a quite a big one here. A lot of cars involved. And it looks like both the teammates there, the 99 and the 17, getting a little bit involved, the 15 involved, the 32 involved. So a lot of repairs, and the pit crews getting to work here early, but all this calamity is going to put Brady Streckengast out there as your leader. Chris Martinez in second, James Connolly third, Jonah Cullen, Lance Brantlinger in your top 5, and then you got Wiles, Booker, Austin Lunger, Mike Moultrie in your top 9, and we got the rest of the guys in the pits right now. Kind of surprised that some of these guys elected not to come in right here that got involved in it. I mean, Wiles was involved in it for sure, Moultrie was involved, but maybe just a little bit of damage, and they feel like they can drive with this damage for now and don't want to give up track position. But we're on lap 30 right now of 80, so getting close to our halfway point.
Well, not only do I not want to give up track position, but you know, at the same point, you're going to have to be wary. I mean, how many fast repairs are you running? Do you really want to come in? And you know, as we've seen from here, if you're mid-pack, do you really want to come in and put yourself back to the back of the pack, and then try and have to fight your way through to get to the front again? It always seems to be, you know, those mid-pack battles that seem to upset the apple cart. Whereas if you're out front and you can at least try and keep it clean, or you know the guys around you, and you just want to run side by side, then you seem to be in a slightly better position. So right now, I think staying out there and trying to work your way up to the front, even if you do have a little bit of damage, is probably the play.
Well, I can certainly understand not wanting to come in and use a fast repair. These guys only having 2 fast repairs, but it kind of surprises me that they're not going to come in and just try and get the pit crew to fix as much as possible. I mean, you know, they're mid-pack right now. You know, with Wiles, I guess Wiles is towards the front a little more. He's in 6th place. Moultrie back there in 8th. So maybe a little bit towards the front, but if that damage holds you up at all, I mean, we talked about this place driving like a super speedway when it comes to the guys being so close to each other. If you don't have that arrow, you're gonna be behind the 8 ball here on the once the driving kicks off again here. And you could be sliding it back towards the back of the pack anyway, and then you will be later in the race and have to make your way through the field. So we'll see how it works out. I'm not behind the wheel. I'm up here in the booth. These guys, you know, certainly have their own strategies that they're playing out throughout the race, but we're getting ready to go here once again. Streckengost and Martinez on the front row. We're going green here on lap 32.
Yeah, I kind of see your point. I agree with you to an extent. But right now, I think that some of these top-level drivers are expecting more incidents, and that's why they're not coming.
Yeah, not a shocker there. A good start once again from both Streckengost and Connolly, as they're easily going to clear the two of Martinez going into the first turn. Rantlinger gets a good run as well. He's going to get to the inside. Well, at a peek to the inside of Martinez, but Martinez shuts him down there going into one. And he's going to fall into fourth position as they're diving around already back there in the back. Rantlinger on the inside now of the 44 of Cullen. Battle for fourth position, but battle for the lead now as Connolly on the outside. Shocker, as he is going to go around the 77 of Streckengost. Martinez is going to follow suit, and both of them will clear into turn one.
Yeah, he loves that outside, and he's making it work for him. I mean, you can't deny that it's not working for him.
I am surprised, though, again, that how much that inside line is still working. I guess maybe, you know, it is the side draft that's helping them out, but you typically don't see that. You typically see a line, you know, one line be the favored line and getting the runs. And usually that's the middle/high line, but tonight both lines are getting runs, and it's going to make for even closer battles as, again, we're side by side for first, third, fifth, seventh, you name your odd number, because it's double file all the way back.
Yeah, they all seem they like this 2x2. But as you say, I mean, we're still early yet, and I'm not sure that the 2x2 is going to be the modus operandi. By the end of the evening, I think we're going to see plenty of three wide, maybe even a little squeeze of a four. I've said it once and it happened, and I will say it again, just because I really want them to go for a ride. Please go for a ride.
Again, Mark is up in the booth, so feel free not to listen to him. For your own safety, feel free not to listen to him. But good racing out here so far as we near the halfway point for these guys. Streckengost inches back ahead, but it is very close battling, and you see the timing tower. It is orange across the board, other than Richards, who is one lap down, but he is hanging right there in the back of this pack, just kind of waiting for his chance to grab that lap back here if another caution were to come out. But these guys doing a great job so far as we now complete lap 36. Connolly back out to the lead, getting pushed by Martinez, but now Martinez looks to take the, I guess might as well call it the Connolly line at this point. He takes it away, and he goes to the high side and puts the 29 on the inside in front of Streckengost right now. But, yeah, I mean, these guys are leaving just enough of a gap in the middle, and sometimes just enough of a gap coming off the corners on the bottom. For guys to take a look to the inside, like right here, Streckengost peeks to the inside of Connolly and almost swipes right on him coming off the corner. But it is Martinez out front, Cullen in second.
Well, what I would say was that Cullen gave Martinez one hell of a bump just then. I'm surprised that he wasn't actually in the cockpit next to him. There he's getting, well, that's a little strong there, fella. I actually saw that back end come clean off the floor, and
three wide again. But they get it sorted out, and it's... Can you tell Mark is tensing up a little bit here in the booth watching this race? It's tight, and I can imagine that these guys in the cars are, got to be gripping that wheel a little bit tighter right now, as it is certainly racy up here at the front. We take a look through the order. It looks like Moultrie hanging in there in 11th place towards the back of this little group here. His teammate Wiles has fallen back towards the back a little bit, so not sure if damage on the 17 is hurting or not, but everybody's still within the draft, so can't be hurting that much if it is, but little wobble there from Booker as he's trying to get to the outside of Connolly for third.
Yeah, but please, guys, I mean, this is cardiac arrest territory for me. I mean, every week they do this to me, Carl, but I don't understand why they hate me so much.
As it gets very close there once again. Man, it's not just you, buddy. It's tense for me up here as well. It looks like the 33 into pit lane, so I'm not sure if he's still having some issues, but he's going to bring the car into pit lane right now from 19th position. But out front, it is still side by side for the lead, and look to be for a second there, 3 wide once again as out front. Martinez on the outside, Connolly on the inside. And yeah, these guys I don't think are going to let up here. We're already past halfway, and I think it's about time to maybe give Mark a little time to breathe, give you guys a little love to hear it.
Please.
some of these cars rip around Atlanta at full speed here on the bigger cams, on the outside walls, but unbelievable save while we were there in the love to hear it by Chris Martinez, as he certainly lost a bunch of spots saving that car, but would have taken out damn near the entire field if he didn't save that on the initial start there. But George out in the lead. Brantlinger now wants it, and he moves to the outside. It gets a little side drafted corners to try and get there. Wells right behind these guys, looking to see which line is going to be the one that moves. He moves to the outside, and now he's going to look at the side draft and going in the corner. Right behind them in fourth place, Larry Johnson, just kind of sitting back there watching this battle, trying to see what's going to happen. Connolly back there in fifth position. Moultrie, Austin Lunger, Reynolds, Cody Lunger, and Allen round out the top 10.
Yeah, George taken out to the front. We did have one taker for a pit stop, and that was our friend Derek Booker. I don't know. Was this the right time? I mean, how long can the rest of these guys go? When's the last time they pit? I'm looking through the sheets now. 29, 19, 29, 19. I mean, some of them must be getting close on fuel. I would have thought so by now. 30 laps out here.
Yeah, it seemed like a little bit early for pit stop. Not sure when Booker came in the first time for the pit stop, but now we see Chris Martinez in pit lane, so maybe that was a little bit early start to the pit cycle, but we are possibly getting into it right now as we're on lap 54 of 80, and there we go, another taker to pit lane. That is James Connolly heading down now, and Brady Schreckengost going to follow suit as well. So the pit window is open, and about to see some guys jump here.
I think there's going to be a few takers this time. Now, my point being is if Derek can get to the end, has he actually managed to make the undercut, and has he actually managed to make it work? Well, I'm going to switch to him right now just to see where he is and where everybody else comes out. Because he's all on his lonesome right now. He's not in the draft.
As it stands right now, excuse me, it is George out front, Wells in second, and Johnson in third, as these guys are a bit of a three-car breakaway right now, about a second back to Austin Lunger in fourth position. And if this thing is indeed driving like a super speedway, you're going to want to come into pit road with a teammate or with somebody that you're willing to work with, because you're going to need that draft to catch back up and get back up to speed here. That's why we're seeing, I think, a couple guys coming in together. We got Austin Lunger now in the pits, Miles Moultrie and Brantlinger in the pits as well. As we still have 18 cars in this race, the only one that we lost is the 44 of Cullen, as he is out of the race. But we're starting to see a lot of guys a lap down now, as you're losing a lap going into pit lane here at Atlanta, as these speeds are just carrying these guys around here right now at about just under 32 seconds a lap.
I don't think that kind of panned out for Booker the way he was kind of hoping. Martinez and was running close up to the front, but now they're filling through the pit stop. He's 4 seconds ahead right now. Lunger's coming out on the pit road. That was like one of the other.
Oh, big wreck right there.
Oh no.
And George was just about to come into pit lane, and he avoids coming in. Now the question is, does he have enough fuel to get around here one more time? Or is he going to run out? Because it's going to be tough. But in the meantime, let's take a look at what brought out the caution here.
It was Johnson and Wales, I think, maybe.
And it was right at the front. I know it definitely involved Wells. And yeah, it looks like possibly Johnson as well, as we're just finally getting to it here.
Oh.
And it looks like maybe Wells checking up a little bit. Maybe he was planning on going into pits with the 96 there, but maybe lack of communication right there, as the 21 was certainly not coming into the pits. Gets into the back of the 9 pretty hard. and looks like he might have locked it up and decided to go down into pit lane then afterwards. But luckily for the rest of the field, looks like these are the only two guys getting involved in the incident, but that is going to shake up the standings in a big way. A lot of drivers were still out, and that means all those guys that were lapped down are going to have to get the wave around here. But all these drivers right now are going to have the track position and the freshest tires in the field. So big shakeup here, and certainly in the favor of the man out front right now, and that is William George.
Yeah, it chose the perfect time. Well, they made it through, and he's exiting the pits as well now. So it looks like it's really going to pan out well for him.
So the way it stands right now, it is going to be George, Reynolds, Heath, Allen, and Deweese, your top five. Rude is going to be in sixth. Looks like Schreckengoss is going to file out there in seventh. Johnson at eighth. Wells in ninth. And Connolly is going to round out your top 10. Cody Lunger, Austin Lunger, Booker, Wiles, Martinez. Actually, just back to Wiles are the ones on the lead lap right now, with 5 of those waiting to get a wave around. Martinez is now stuck a lap down. He's the first car lap down. Moultrie is a lap down. Richards is still 2 laps down. And then Brantley are in the pits right now. He is 4 laps down, having some issues. But wow, what a shakeup. We're seeing those guys getting their wave arounds right now. And the guys getting the wave arounds will be Connolly, Cody Lunger, Austin Lunger, and looks like Derek Booker as well. And then
this is going to make it interesting, especially with 19 to go. Those guys on fresh tyres are going to be defending, and yeah, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be trying to come up through that field. They're going to be taking chances. So I can see this getting real spicy real quick.
So 19 to go here at the line when we take the green flag. Mark, given how this race has panned out so far, and I guess kind of how quickly you can move through the field if you're aggressive enough, is it go time yet, or are you waiting till closer to maybe 10 or 5 to go?
Yeah, no, not yet. I'm waiting another 8 laps, 7 laps. I'm going to see who's the one who's making the moves. I'm going to be planning. I'm going to be following guys who are trying to get up through the pack. I'm going to be tucked in behind them. I'm going to want to let them try and drag me through the pack if I can. And then about 8, 9 to go, then I'm going to start pushing the point. But I think it's just a little too early, just a little yet. Plus, I know we were talking about how high grip this track is and how the tyres hold on, but I want my tyres in the best possible condition that they can be in when it comes down to those last 5 or 6 laps, because that's when it's going to people are going to start pushing moves that kind of maybe they shouldn't be, but there was a gap there, so I took it, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying, Carl?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely, I know what you're saying, and I know you'd be the first one to make those crazy moves for sure. But hey, listen, you gotta take it when you get a chance. But we see these guys doing that throughout the entire race so far. So it's gonna get, as you mentioned earlier, spicy here at the end. But looks like we had an extra caution lap here, just to make sure everybody gets caught up to the grid, as some of the wave around cars were lagging back there a little bit. But we are all back together now, all re-racked, and it is going to be George and Reynolds on the front row, Heath and Allen in the second row. So a lot of new faces here at the front, and some of those guys that were in the lead before are buried back in the pack a bit with older tires to boot. I mean, not by much, 5 laps or so is the difference between these guys, but brand new tires on the front of this field, and Pace Truck is out. And it is George on the loud pedal once again, racing here at Atlanta.
From what I can see, it looks like it's the first 7 or so that are on brand new tyres, and Schreckengoss and Connolly 4. I presume that's when they put their set on now. So we shall see whether or not those that fresher tyres actually makes a difference now, and they can make a break from the rest of the pack, or whether or not that toe is strong enough for them to be able to keep with them.
George in the lead, but side by side for second between the 31 of Heath and the 00 of Luis. And now battling it back there in the back, the 29 of Connolly, almost getting into the 15. The 15 slides down to the bottom line now. And it looks like the bottom line trying to form up a little bit, but Wells looking to the inside of Reynolds down the backstretch.
Yeah, I will say the shocking cost looks like he's got that inside nailed down, because I've seen him make a couple of little pokes up on the inside of people, and he looks like he can make that work. So if he can keep that going, if he can make that work, then this could get real interesting real quick.
I think it's been real interesting real quick this entire race so far, and these guys put on quite a show. As thought for a second there, the 00 was going to the inside, but it is George on the inside, Heath now on the outside looking for the lead. He's got Connolly, Mr. Outside Line, pushing, and they are going to get it done. Heath to the front, but now looks like Connolly fought for a second there, going up the inside and going through the middle, and I don't think that move is off just yet, but he'll fall back in line right now. George still battling by himself on the inside as he's got no help right now from the guys behind him.
No, a bit too much of a gap, but Trigger's still getting into it just slightly, just a little bit of direction there.
Somehow everything gets sorted out right there. That was a hold your breath moment for these guys for sure. But out front now, by himself, it is Heath. Connolly trying to clear George, but still cannot do so, as it's still side by side for second. Now the 15 of Reynolds closes back up on this group, as does 3 or 4 other cars. And that was very, very tight. What a move right there. Wow.
Yeah, that was close. That was real close.
George with an aggressive move down the inside in turn 3, as he's going to go back to the inside and back to the point around Heath. Still side by side, give the edge by a whisker to Heath, or I'm sorry, George on the inside there. But side by side for first, second, third, fourth, you name it. The top 10 is side by side once again, and we've got 12 laps to go at Atlanta.
They didn't listen. They didn't take my advice. They were already getting a little too spicy, a little too early. Just calm it down. Take a little salsa. Just breathe for a second. Come on, guys. They're not listening to me, Carl. They're determined to give me a heart attack before the end of it. Jason just drifts up a little, real close to Dweez. It's getting a little. There's a few guys who are trying to make it. Look who's coming. It's the 2 teammates of Wiles and Moultrie.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, as we said before, there's a ton of grip on this track with these cars, and you can run flat out, but what you do have is these cars can get a little bit floaty, and that's, I think, what you're seeing. You see these guys just kind of drifting a little bit, here and there, just sliding up a little bit, and that's what's getting a little bit spicy, as you see one of the lap cars there. Looks like the 32 of Blue going to just pull down and let these guys do battling. And hell, if I'm Blue, I'm doing the same thing. Get as far away from this as possible. As this is it fully spicy now, Mark? This is fun. Where are we at the Scoville scale? Because this is certainly getting up there right now. As we've got 9 to go.
It's coming. It's 8 to go. 8 to go now. Here come the moves. Good grief. Man, if he was any later on the brakes, he'd be through the windshield. Good grief, man.
out front it is George, and then battling for second on the inside, the 15 of Reynolds, outside the 31 of Heath. Then you got Connolly and Deweese battling for fourth and fifth. The whole line is back together right now as the top 12 are all within earshot of this lead. And you do have a couple of lap cars mixed in here, as well as Moultrie is the first one a lap down right now. You see him moving to the outside there. He's just trying to stay the first car a lap down.
It's all happening from fourth back. I've just seen a whole bunch of people move from the inside to the outside. Wiles and Moultrie are still running side by side, though Schreckengoss has just shifted himself up to the outside, whereas George and Heath out front just seem to be swapping. I keep seeing them going from to and fro, but here come the pack, and they're all pretty close together, and I think this is going to get real interesting real fast now. 5 to go. Yeah, now's the time. If you're going to make your move, this is it.
Yeah, 6 to go here, 5 at the line, and it is still George out front. Heath in second, Reynolds, Connolly, and Deweese, your top 5. Wells, Wiles, Schreckengoss, Johnson, and Allen, your top 10. But, I mean, your guess is as good as mine who's going to finish where, as this is one heck of a race and nowhere near being over. I mean, 5 to go, anything can happen here, but George still hanging on to that front.
Yeah, I think he absolutely made the right move, just wanted to stay up front. But I think the rest of the pack are coming, and I think now it's going to start to get to the point now where people are going to start pushing and making those gaps appear. Here it comes.
It's been building for quite some time here, I think, and now it's time to watch these guys really go to work, as we have got 4 laps to go now. Heath back on the outside and trying to clear George, but not going to get it done just yet. The 15 of Reynolds sitting back there watching, waiting for his chance to make the move and get up in here, and now he closes in coming off of turn 3 and 4. 3 to go at Atlanta.
Yeah, I think Wiles is just looking for a gap. He's trying to make something happen here. I've seen him pushing Connolly and getting onto the inside of Deweese. I think that sooner or later he's going to have to try and make something happen, and I think that time is coming. Here he comes right around the outside. I see who's coming.
Reminder of everything that is on the line here. You got guys that can make some money here tonight. Top 3 in the points are going to make some money after tonight. Top 2 in points are guaranteed locks into the playoffs, and then the top 8 other than them in this race here in the final race are going to make the playoffs as well. So, you know, guys like guys towards the back of this top 10 still have a chance to make the playoffs. So even though you may not be a factor for the win, you can still get into the show. But we have got 1 lap to go this time right now. White flag is out side by side for the lead. You got George on the inside, Heath in the outside. They're coming up on the lap car of Booker, as he's going to stay high for these guys. And the 15 looking for a way around. Cannot find it right now. Side by side in a turn 3 and 4. Who you got? The inside, the outside. Maybe the wild card right behind him. Coming off of turn 4, it's going to be possibly 3 wide. Side by side at the line. Give it to Heath by 9 thousandths of a second.
Oh, grief.
Mark, are you still breathing?
No. I called the ambulance. It's on its way.
What a finish here, and if you didn't have enough side-by-side action throughout the race, you had to come to the line. Unbelievable finish. Heath getting it done here. You see it on the timing and scoring tables. 9 thousandths of a second. Reynolds right behind these guys. Thought for a second we might have had 3 wide coming to the line, but Reynolds is going to finish in 3rd. Johnson, Connolly, going to finish your top 5. Then you got Wiles, Wells, Allen, Deweese, and Cody Lumber, your top 10, but give us a second to catch our breath after that one. And I mean, that was the closest finish of the season for these guys by far, and one of the closest in CRN history for sure. What a finish here in Atlanta.
That was just, yeah. But again, great racing, so close, side by side coming onto the tri-oval. There was no door banging. There was no, there was no deliberate move to try and make it. It was just two guys trying to get to the line as quick as possible, and Heath making it by 9,000th of a second. I mean, it doesn't really get much closer than that. Not really. I mean, yeah. An extra layer or two of paint on the front of that car maybe would have won it for George, I think. But yeah, just relief.
Running it down here, and we'll get these guys up here in the booth if we can get them rounded up here. So just gonna grab these guys and slide them up into the correct room here as we wait for them to pop in here. And yeah, we'll go ahead and start with our winner here tonight. And Mark, why don't you go ahead and take the winner, the 31 of Heath.
Kyle, Mark here in the booth after giving me a heart attack. Towards the end of that race, can you please tell me how it was going and it didn't look as bad as it looked from up here?
Well, can I start off from the beginning? Because I actually got into the race like within 2 seconds of the race lobby closing off.
Wow.
Yeah, and I jumped in here. My sound wasn't working. My buttons weren't working on my wheel. So that first caution that happened, I ended up involved in it. I didn't know the guy, I think number 33, I thought he was going to get it back under control, and I had to slam on brakes. I ended up tapping him and ended up spinning out with that one. And came into the pits and had to exit out my car and had to fix on my sound and my buttons and everything else to finally get back on the track so I can hear.
Well, I think you should continue that now as tradition because it obviously seems to work out for you. What a great race! Absolutely superb finish between you and George at the end there. I mean, coming for the last 3 or 4 laps, did you think that it was just going to be you two, or I mean, I saw Reynolds was there behind you, or did you think Reynolds was going to try and push it and make it 3 wide towards the end?
Well, with the cars, after the tires wear off, it's really kind of hard to get a good run, on somebody. And I know I wore out my tires on that last run. I'll tell you that, especially on the high side. I was just trying to hold George down as far as I could, let him wear off his stuff, staying on that low line like that. But I think that lap car might have helped me a little bit at the end. It gave me just enough draft coming to the final lap. I mean, that right there, that was close. I don't even know how close it was. Was it 9,000th of a second?
Yeah, 9,000th of a second between you and George at the end. Me and Carl were talking in the booth about the lap car and how he stayed high. Gave you just enough room to get it up the inside. But Carl was talking earlier about how much you can get a side draft if you're in the middle of a 3 wide. And that might have been, actually, now thinking about it, that might have been just what pushed you over the edge. Because there can't have been more than a couple of layers of paint between you and the winner there. I mean, that was insane. But it did seem very fair. There didn't seem to be any contact as both of you came through the tri-oval.
Yeah, that was good. Like I said, I was pitching him close down low, and I was actually using a little bit of trail braking to keep my car turned left. Try to keep it turned left up against him. That way, I had a little bit extra side draft and that extra momentum coming out of turn 4, and that was close. I was looking at my driver's side window just to see where he was coming through the tri-oval. So I didn't know where the wall was. I didn't know where he was actually at. I was looking.
Now, that was just a superb finish, Cole. Before I let you go, and I send you back up to the rest of the team, is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to and thanks to before I send you back?
Yeah, shout out to the league and you guys, putting this on out there. It's pretty fun. Second race with this league. Got second last week and first this week. It was fun. This Atlanta's not my favorite track at all, by all means. I like old Atlanta. Give a big shout out to my wife. She lets me race on certain nights, and she's also sponsors my car, meetmariedesigns.com. And I'll give a big shout out to George for racing me fun there. That was pretty fun.
All right, Cole. Well, it's been a pleasure speaking to you.
All right, you too. Thank you.
All right, that your winner here tonight, the 31 of Kyle Heath, and now we'll bring in the man that he just clipped at the line, and just trying to see if he's in here yet, and we'll bring in the 96 of William George. And William, I mean, just talk us through the pretty much from the last restart on there. You were at the front, you had the freshest tires in the field with with a lot of the guys around you, but it seemed like you were pretty determined to keep that thing out front and away from any of the calamity that was going on behind you. So just take us through the end of this race.
I just ran it honestly, but no, I knew he was going to get a run off me on the outside because as the tires wear down, the outside line is preferred line. But I just was trying to side draft him the best I could. That way I can get a good run off in the corner and try to pull away. But yeah, that was my goal. I was trying to save a set of tires for the end, and it worked out. So it was that.
So is there anything that you could have done? I mean, it's we talked about the lap car possibly helping get the win for Heath, as I kind of mentioned earlier. If you have the cojones to kind of set up the middle, you're going to get the double side draft, and maybe that's kind of how he benefited coming through 3 and 4. He got the side draft off of you on the inside, side draft off the lap car on the outside, and kind of gave him that literally 9,000th of a second edge.
Oh, I knew right off the bat, as soon as we came up across that lap car, he was going to have the draft off him. I was like, well, there goes that. And then we took it 3 wide, and it messed up my corner going in because I was going into the second lane side draft, and I was shooting into the corner real hard, and that's how I was gaining my time a little bit. But when we went 3 wide there, it kind of screwed me up a little bit. But hey, it is what it is. I didn't even expect to run, honestly. Just out here trying to have a good time.
And it looked like you guys definitely had a blast out there. So tell me, what were the thoughts going through your head? I mean, we didn't really see too much of you in the first part of this race, but then the pit strategy started to play out and ended up really playing out in your favor when you got the yellow come out once about half the field already came in the pits, but you were coming into the pits when it happened. So what was going through your mind at that point right there?
It was me, the 9, and someone else that was behind, and we were communicating with each other. We're like, all right, we're going to pit this time. Nope, we're going to pit this time. All right, got it. Then as soon as I went to go tell them, hey, we're going to pit, there was a bunch of radio chatter, and I couldn't get to them, and by then they were already wrecking. So I kind of dove back out, and I got lucky there, but...
Yeah, I was kind of wondering, were you still okay on fuel? Were you just kind of playing it safe coming in at that time and just kind of want to keep up with the pack, or were you getting close on fuel when that yellow came out?
Oh, I was good on fuel. I still had another 7-8 laps to the good, but I know the guys behind me wanted to pit early. That way it would just been the 3 of us, and we would have left everyone else behind. But that didn't work out. But it was still a fun race.
Yeah, it was definitely fun to watch here too. So, congrats on your second place here. I guess a little bittersweet in the end. But anybody you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Oh shit! I want to thank everyone for letting me join this league. I know this is my second race with the guys. I want to thank TJ for making this car. For all the veterans out there, and big shout out to TJ. He's the one that made this car happen. He's the one that got me in this league, and that's it.
All right, well, congratulations here on your second place, and we'll let you go celebrate.
Oh, definitely. I'm gonna go talk with my car owner.
There you go, buddy. All right, that your second place finisher, the 96 of William George, and yeah, it brings up a good point. Obviously, if you're a fan of CRN, you probably caught a bit of the race last night as we had the CRN Coke 300, and kind of just an early shout out to Memorial Day weekend, and what Memorial Day weekend really represents, and you just thoughts and prayers to all the family members that have lost a military member in the line of duty, and great to see a paint scheme out there kind of representing that as well on that 96. But last but not least, Mark, why don't you go ahead and take the man that got to watch this battle come through turns 3 and 4, third place here, Chase Reynolds.
Chase, Mark, up here in the booth. How are you, my friend?
Good. How's it going?
Yes, not too bad, thank you. That was quite the finish. I actually thought that you might have had the double draft and a bit of a chance to try and make a move towards the end of that. Was that the idea going towards the end, or could you see just how tight they were racing and thought, you know what, the third, I like the third. I'm just going to stick here. I don't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of create that space to get the run on them, but I was happy with third, and I didn't want to put my nose where it didn't belong and cause a problem with both of us, or all three of us. So was happy with third. Gets me to the playoffs, I hope. Hopefully they don't go back and see anything. I don't think there's anything there, but yeah, no, I was happy with third all the way. I was hoping I could get an angle on them, but they were just running so close together. It was tough.
Yeah, it looked like they were door to door coming towards the end there. When I spoke to Carl, he was saying he was trying to squeeze George down just to make sure that he couldn't get that run up, and William was saying that he'd like to move up into that lane too, so that he could swing the car down into the bottom, and with the back marker being there as well, that kind of stuffed them both up for the entry, which is why I thought that you're actually going to try and make the move around the outside. But yeah, I think that was a smart move, and playing for the points and getting yourself into the playoffs. Was that your strategy all along, or was there a thought of, I can make this happen, I'm going to win this?
There was definitely a thought, and then I had the same thought as you. I thought I wanted to take the outside, but every time I was on the outside tonight, I hit the wall. And so I wanted to really avoid that as much as I could.
Yeah, it was tough, and the wall around here is sticky. Once you get into that wall, it won't let you go. So yeah, I think that was a definite. I think that was a definite play. How was the rest of your race? Did you find it okay? I mean, we didn't really see too much of you, but that last pit stop seemed to plan out well for you.
Yeah. So my first pit stop, actually, I didn't mean to pit. Or I didn't mean to take tires, and I was really nervous because the tires wore down quick. I'd never raced this track before. It was my first time on the track, and wasn't sure how the tire wear was going to be. And I was running the outside, got in the wall, and I realized my tires were already gone. And I was going to try and hold out for as long as I could, and just took them a little too early. So then I went another, 40 or so, 50 laps with the second set of tires and hoped for the best. And I had maybe 7 laps of gas left in the car, and was praying for a caution, praying for a caution, and we got one. So definitely worked out in my favor.
Yeah, you came in the same lap as the top 4, so it looked like that was definitely the right strategy.
Yeah, definitely. My plan was to follow Jacob Allen. I don't know if you remember. I think it was Michigan.
Yeah,
where he pitted really late and came on really strong at the end. So I was going to try and follow something like that, but and it seemed it was a little different variation of it, but it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, no, it really did seem to work out for you. And I'm trying to look through the points now to see whether or not it does look like you might have actually made the playoffs. So that's a definite bonus. what else was there tonight? It was just great racing out there. We was expecting it to get a little spicier a little sooner. Well, I was expecting it to get a little spicier a little sooner. But there was some great respect shown from a lot of the drivers out there tonight. Some good communication. That seemed to be what swung it for most of the guys out there. There seemed to be a lot of people in communication with each other. Did you find that yourself?
Yeah, it was really nice to know, like, people were being very vocal about, when they were pitting, and when they had runs, when they had good runs, when they were a little slower, and when they were struggling a little bit. So I just always find in this league that the guys do have a lot of respect for each other. I've honestly never raced in a more respectful league, and I expected this track, from what I heard from people, that it was going to be a little, like you said, a little spotty and few cautions out there, but I think that we all did good, and we all made sure that we did wreck. We tried to stay away from each other. I know I got caught up in one in the middle of the race. I can't remember what lap it was, but just things happen, and thankfully I was able to get back into it and get that third. But it was a good race. It was fun to be a part of, and that finish was definitely a fun one to watch.
Yeah, me and my co-presenter here in the booth have said just how much respect there is in this league, and how how good the communication is between all the drivers, and that just came to the fore tonight. I was trying to catch as much of radio chatter as I could, and there was a lot of people saying that they were coming in, that what lap they were coming in on, that they were coming in packs, and just as you expect from, well, as we now want to call Atlanta a super speedway, because with this much grip, it does tend to drive like a super speedway. But it was a great race from you tonight. Superb finish. I was kind of hoping that you were going to take it 3-1 towards the end there, but that's just because I'm a bit of a sadist, and I like to see the carnage. Is there anybody who you'd like to give a shout out to before I send you back up to the rest of the team?
Just the guys who put on the league for us, and everybody, just all the other drivers in the league. Like I said, I have not been in a better league. I've been in a couple where they have way too many rules. You're trying too hard to control the race, and these guys just let you go out there and have fun, and we all respect each other for it, and we all race each other how we want to be raced. So just thanks to the drivers, thanks to the league admins and everything, and thanks to you guys for broadcasting.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. Pleasure having you up here in the booth, Jace.
Yep, absolutely. Take care, guys.
All right, that is your third place finisher here, the 15 of Chase Reynolds, and to put a bow on tonight's race, it was phenomenal racing from the drop of the green flag. Certainly, had some incidents out there, and it was to be expected. I mean, these guys were flat out the entire way, and putting the cars everywhere on the track. So it was just a matter of time till carnage happened here and there. But all in all, I mean, for 80 laps out here, I think we had maybe 4 or 5 cautions max. I think that was a pretty good showing for these guys.
Yeah, completely agree. But I'd like to give a shout out to Shaker's Bar and Grill, Sam's Tree Service, and J1 Paint for putting on the league and for sponsoring it. Just a superb job, and it's sponsors like this that make leagues like this the leagues that they are, because there's that little bit of incentive towards the end, just that little bit of cash, just to make it interesting towards the end, and they've been solid all through the season, and never faltered, and you've got to love it like that.
Absolutely, and if you loved Redline Racing so far, this was just the regular season. We've got playoff action coming up next week, and it's going to get very interesting very quick here. As again, it's going to be 12 guys. I don't want to make the predictions on who made the playoffs here or not, but as I said, the top 2 in points after this race, and then from there the top 8 in tonight's race will make the playoffs. So 10 guys will head to Old Daytona next week. So the Legacy Daytona, a little bit bumpier, a little bit rougher to drive on. So that'll be very interesting. And only going to be taking the top 5 from that race to Dover. And then finally, the top 3 from Dover will battle it out at Texas for the season finale. 3 races left in the season here. It's been great so far. There's already talks of season 2, and not a surprise, a great run league here. And these guys know what they're doing here, and they know what they want out of the league, and doing a great job. So shout out to Cody and Austin Lunger, as well as Jacob Allen. But we are not done this week here on CRN. You still got tomorrow night with NSR, Sunday nights the Premier Series for Core, Monday night the GT Series, Tuesday we have the triple header this week, as you got UCRL, and you also have the ARCA and Truck Series, and then Wednesday nights you have SSLMS, and then back here for playoff action next week at Daytona. That's going to do it for myself and Mark up here in the booth. We'll see you at the track.
Take care, people.